Elden Ring is a game where boys become men, where you learn to lose repeatedly until you're ready to roll over and cry. But it's also a game full of lore, beauty, and some of the best combat ever seen. Anticipated for a decade, Elden Ring is a standout in the Souls series. Yet, for many, including myself, this game is a living hell. Elden Ring was an ambitious project from the legendary Hidetaka Miyazaki. He's pretty much the mastermind behind the entire Souls game series. This man literally created the Dark Souls series, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and this time, Elden Ring. He collaborated with none other than George Martin, the author of the A Song of Ice and Fire series. Martin's involvement brought a unique eye to the game's mythos, helping to create a rich, dark fantasy world that stands apart from Software's previous titles. Martin is known for his dark worlds and sense of no clear insight, and sometimes a loss of hope, which is why he's perfect for the creation of this world.
Cool.
The game's land, known as the Lands Between, draws heavily from Norse mythology and other crazy tales. Central to this world is the Erd Tree, a massive, giant, glowing, luminous yellow tree that can literally be seen from almost any point in this game. The Erd Tree serves as a central symbol of the world's mystical and natural elements. It is believed to be a conduit for the Great Will, a mysterious force that governs the world of Elden Ring. The tree's golden light is said to be a manifestation of this divine power, and its roots spread throughout the land, connecting various regions and influencing the world around them.
Wow.
In gameplay terms, the Erd Tree is pretty much a beacon that guides us players on our journey. Its presence is a constant reminder of the central quest and the ultimate goal that we are trying to reach. Miyazaki has also stated that Martin's contributions were primarily in creating the world's lore and backstory, while he and his team focused on the game's present narrative and gameplay mechanics. Martin was focused on creating the gods for this world and the conflicts between all of them and their relationships to one another. This was used as the foundation for Elden Ring.
Cool.
But developing Elden Ring was no small feat. From Software aimed to create their largest and most ambitious game ever, topping their previous successes. Initially planned to be more linear like Dark Souls, the game's scope expanded significantly. The team wanted a truly open world filled with terrifying bosses and monsters. To support this vast world, From Software introduced the spectral steed Torrent. Torrent wasn't just a mode of transportation, but a key gameplay element, allowing players to traverse both horizontally and vertically. This required designing fluid, engaging terrain, making the world feel massive and immersive.
That's great.
But you are all probably wondering why I think this game is a living hell, and it's not because I hate this game, but rather it's because of how the game is set up. First, the characters and enemies are nightmarish. Unlike most games, you don't encounter many normal humans. Instead, you face deformed beings and horrifying creatures. The unpredictability of these encounters keeps you on edge. In fact, the world design adds to this atmosphere. It's dark, depressing, and filled with a sense of hopelessness. The landscapes make you feel alone. The ruined castles and lifeless environments enhance this feeling. Even the music contributes to the overall dark and oppressive mood. In Elden Ring, you rarely meet characters that seem normal. Apart from the Round Table Hold folks, most NPCs are either zombies or deformed in some way. The enemies you face are absolutely terrifying, often nonsensical, and incredibly difficult to fight. For example, you'll be walking around the land and all of a sudden you'll be getting chased by some giant zombie dog who can rip your face off with one bite. And there are plenty of other enemies that are just not fun to fight. Even when you level up in this game, it feels like you don't get any better at all. You're constantly worrying and stressing about each fight. And I just want to bang my head upon the wall every time I play.
That makes sense.
Everyone who has played Elden Ring has had a unique experience. My personal journey with Elden Ring was mixed. I loved the lore and the world, fascinated by the universe the creators built, However, the relentless difficulty of the enemies dampened my enjoyment. The aggressive, unbalanced foes and repetitive boss fights made the game more frustrating than fun. In my opinion, the enemies in Elden Ring are just way too difficult and unfair. They are overly aggressive, giving players no breathing room during battles, which often makes the experience annoying rather than enjoyable.
I totally agree.
This lack of balance detracts from the game's replayability for me. I look back at some of my experiences with the game with actual terror and sadness rather than joy. I played as a samurai on my first run, and Elden Ring was my very first Soulsborne game. The steep learning curve and relentless difficulty was overwhelming. Unlike other fantasy games like Zelda, Baldur's Gate 3 or Final Fantasy VII, Elden Ring didn't offer many engaging characters to grow attached to. Instead, it focuses on horrifying monster fights, which, while challenging, lacked the emotional connection I value in video games.
That makes sense.
The world is massive and it's absolutely stunning, no doubt about it, but the world feels empty, unfortunately, and the game just has you running from one destination to the other just to get your butt whooped over and over again. And no, I'm not saying that this game is a bad game at any means. It's actually a really great game for what it is. It's like what the company Arrowhead said, a game for everyone is a game for no one. And after seeing that quote on Arrowhead's website for Helldivers 2, it just made so much more sense for the entertainment we see in culture today, and this especially applies to Elden Ring.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Every game has an audience, but I am just not that audience for this game. I enjoyed Elden Ring for what it was and what it was trying to be. I really respected the game for taking such a hard stance on being difficult. But when it comes to playing video games, I am looking for a fun, good time that is challenging and rewarding, but is also fun. After fighting so many hard enemies, sometimes you just want to take a break, and you just want to speak with characters in the world. And going into this game, I don't think many people knew that Elden Ring was going to be insanely hard and focused on fighting bosses. This would make sense for why so many players quit right after meeting the very first boss in the story. Players didn't know what they were getting into, but for those who have played Souls games before, Soulsborne veterans knew exactly what to expect in Elden Ring.
You know what? You're absolutely right.
And the truth is, I actually loved how Elden Ring focuses on fighting hard bosses, and the way it pushes players to not give up and to think strategically on how to get better. However, for someone like me, who enjoys a blend of challenging foes and engaging characters, Elden Ring feels more like a living hell when playing it. It's a game about overcoming fears and challenges, teaching players to keep pushing until they succeed. P.S. If you want to have a good experience with Elden Ring, I highly recommend playing as the Sorcerer, a completely different experience which is a lot easier. But that's just my opinion. Make sure to leave your thoughts on the game in the comments below, and to like and to subscribe to see more Oh, good grief. We will have to talk later. Just leave some comments, and I'll talk to you guys down there in the comments section.